Caldwell is in Washington, D.C. He's there for the annual conference of mayors where he will meet with President Obama later this afternoon. This morning we've learned of another important meeting. The mayor joins us by phone this morning from D.C. Good morning to you, Mayor.
Hey, good morning, Ron. Good morning, Dan. It's great to hear the weather report because it's very, very cold up here, and we expect a blizzard coming in tomorrow, 2 feet of snow. So I'm fleeing back to Honolulu tomorrow morning, even though the conference goes for another day. I do not want to be stuck in Washington, D.C. But we had a great meeting this morning with the Assistant Secretary of Insular Affairs for the Department of Interior. She's a local woman, Native Hawaiian, understands the challenges we face in homelessness. And I went to see her specifically on the issue of immigrants who come from the Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Palau, and end up in Honolulu and end up in Kaka'ako, for example. And while it's a minority of the homeless population, right now with the enforcement actions that we've taken, probably the largest percentage right now are that community. And how do we get them to move into shelter? And as you know, we have Sand Island. It's a great place. We're looking at expanding, and we're also looking at other Sand Island type measures around Oahu. But how do we help these folks move? And so she has agreed to spearhead a strategy group out in Honolulu, inviting the stakeholders both from those Pacific Islands and in Honolulu to come together at the state level, the county level, and see how can we work better with this community to have them seek and trust what we're offering and have them get off of our sidewalks and into shelter where it is safer for them to be.
Mayor, you've said this from the get-go that this is going to take a multi-pronged effort. But to get this done, Mayor, realistically, this will take money. It'll take finances. Have we any kind of commitment from the federal government of how they can assist with this as well?
You know, money is really tight, and we did spend about half of our time talking about federal money. And, of course, it comes down to money that's being put into the budget that's proceeding through Congress. And right now we have a Congress that's not all that friendly towards the issues that we face in Honolulu on homelessness. So I don't hold out a lot of hope there. But I do know that, you know, with the money that the council has given to the city and the money that we've sought, that I think we can do a better job particularly working with this subgroup of homeless folks. And I think that this assistant secretary can bring together the folks that we need to address that part of the homeless situation. It's like peeling an onion. You know, it's peel by peel addressing the different types of population. And we've made, I mean, Kaka'ako has less folks there. There were 300. We now have maybe 65 to 70 people there. And we've housed over 500 homeless folks last year, of which half of them were chronic homeless veterans. And we just had Michelle Obama talk to us just now, right before I came up here, an incredibly good speech. Her entire focus was this effort that she initiated to house chronic homeless veterans, and she talked about cities around our country who are doing that. And, you know, we are close to functional zero in Honolulu. I think we can be very proud of it, and the credit goes to all those we worked with, and we're not going to stop. We're going to continue to tackle this issue. In a couple minutes, I'm going to be meeting with the head of the Interagency Task Force on Homelessness, something that President Obama put together to get all the different federal agencies to work as one with the cities around the country that are struggling and dealing with homelessness. I'm meeting with them to talk about, you know, how do we do even a better job with housing first. They're the ones who initiated this with our administration 3 years ago. And then at 3:30, I'm going to go to HUD to talk about housing more chronic homeless veterans, scrubbing the numbers so we can report back to you, Ron and Diane, as to where we are in terms of functional zero. We have about 40 remaining chronic homeless veterans we have not housed, partly because they don't want to seek shelter. And they sometimes will call that functional zero. In other words, we housed everyone who wanted to go into shelter, but we're not stopping. We want to get these 40 or so folks into shelter, too. And I'm going to be meeting with HUD to ask them, how can we do this? What other resources can you bring? And how can you help us hit this goal of housing every chronic homeless veteran? It's the patriotic thing to do, and I think we can be proud of where we've gotten so far.
It's our responsibility to do that. Mayor, thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule this morning, and safe travels home. And yes, it's a sunny 82 degrees in Honolulu.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you covering this issue with your viewers, and look forward to seeing you back in Honolulu.
Thank you, Mayor.